All right. We have a fun little, I have a fun little demo for you, and it's based off of, let's see, Barb Pasternak said, "Yay, glad to see you. I was going through withdrawals." You're too nice, Barb. It is based off of this. We forgot to grab the runner, so that's okay. But this is our Halloween around the block table runner. Isn't that fun? Um, this was a project I designed, I don't know, a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I can't remember now. Might have been a couple years. But today I'm going to take you step by step on how to make this border. So you can take the same technique, the same idea, and be able to do it on any project that you're making. Today I happen to be doing it for the table runner, the Halloween around the block table runner. Okay, so what that border consists of are quarter square triangles. Now, many of us are familiar with half square triangles, right? But these are quarter square triangles, and or what some people might otherwise refer to as hourglass blocks. All right. So these measurements I'm going to give you are based on the border block that I did with this. But obviously, you can use it for just about anything because I'm going to teach you the principles of what goes into making a quarter square block today. All right, so let me grab, oh, here we go. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so this is what I'm referring to as quarter square blocks. So it's almost like 4 triangles coming together, but they're based off of squares. All right. Jennifer got hers in 2019. So yeah, so I guess it is a couple years old. But I shouldn't say a couple years old. I mean, it's new. If it's new to you, it's new, right? Yeah. All right. So this one is based off of what I did for the border. And I start out with 4.5-inch squares. All right, 4.5-inch squares. And I'm starting with a solid black and then a fun print. So these are the ones I'm going to demo on today. Now, I'll tell you that if you're interested in making this project, it includes all of the fat quarters. Let's see, there's 11 fat quarters in it and a 1/4 yard of black fabric. But all of this entire front and the back are used with the 11 fat quarters. Cool, right? I wanted to make sure it was equal on both sides. Well, that you could do both sides with 11 fat quarters. It's a scrappy back, but it's super fun. Okay. So what you do to make this, one of my favorite tools is a magic wand. A lot of you are familiar with this. We talk about this a lot. It's basically, it has a line down the center, and then you have a 1/4 inch on both sides. All right. So the goal here is that you take it from corner to corner with the diagonal line going down, and then you're going to draw lines that you'll stitch on. I'll show you I'll go through this with you here in just a minute. You're going to draw a line on both sides, and you're going to stitch on both sides, and then we'll cut it down the center. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to put right sides together, and let's see if I can do this very carefully here. I may not see your questions at the time, so if anyone can help out. Allison, are you watching by chance? Maybe Allison can help out with questions too, because I'm not seeing them on both sides. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pull this down here. There we go. So I have right side facing up, right side facing down. I'm going to take my marking tool right here. And because I'm working with black, I'm actually going to use a little chalk pencil here, or else I wouldn't be able to see it, right? So I'm just going to line up that center line. and mark on both sides. Okay, there we go. And you can see that there's 2 lines right there. All right. So what you would do is you would do this on all of your blocks, you know, however many you're going to do. You will actually be able to get 2 1/4-inch blocks out of this method. All right. So with that being done, let me take you over to the sewing machine. Okay, we're going to come right here. Let's see. Put this down. Oh, hold on. Let me pull this over. Sorry, don't mean to make you sick for a minute. There we go. That might work a little better. Okay, so I'm going to sew down both of those lines. Let me tell you one more thing before I start. One of my tips when sewing on the line is to actually do not sew directly on the line. I will actually stitch just a titch inside of the line. And the reason for that is because when you mark your lines, sometimes you're a little more outside of where you should be because it's hard to get that marking pin right up next to it. So I make a habit of stitching just inside both of those lines. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this. Oops, what am I? There we go. Okay, I'll cut my threads, turn this around, and do the same thing on the other side. Perfect. All right, so it looks like this. Now what I want to do is I'm going to cut down the center. Pull this down here. All right. And with my ruler, I'm going to open up my blade and just trim right down the center. And now I have 2 half-score triangles. So if I open it up like this, here we go, and here we go. All right, so normally with a half-score triangle, what we would be doing is we would fold this out, open this up, excuse me, towards the dark side, and I would trim it up at that point and be a half-square triangle. But today we're not doing that. We're doing 1/4 square triangles. So I'm going to do the same thing with pressing my seam towards the dark side. All right. And then I'm going to do one more step to now make this a 1/4 square triangle. So let's go over to the ironing board and do that. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to set the seam. Remember, setting the seam just means you're giving it a little bit of heat before you open it up. Now I'm going to make sure and press towards the dark side. So I'll open that up. I give it just a little finger press, and then I just press it without stretching it. Okay, you don't want to stretch it. I always say you're not ironing a Sunday shirt. Okay, we're just putting some heat there and we press it open. I'll do the same thing on this side. I've already set the seam and now I'll open it up. I do a little bit of a finger press. Bye, Anna. And then press it. All right, there we go. So now with both of those done, the next step is to place one on top of the other. So this one's going to go here. This one will go right on top of it, but opposite. Okay. So if I have black on this side, I'm going to make sure the black lies on top of this side. Does that make sense? I'm going opposite of each other. Now, this is the critical part of doing a quarter square triangle, is you want to butt up these seams right next to each other. So what I'm doing to do that is I'm feeling it. I'm simply feeling it with my fingertips, and I can feel that one is being nestled up right against the other. Okay, so I kind of just line it up along the edges. And again, I can feel that. If you wanted to, you could certainly put a couple of pins in there. I'm not going to. I'm going to take my chances, but I do feel it. And it's almost like they're just nestled in right up next to each other so that they don't flip over one another. That is the key to having a really good point in the middle. Okay, so with that being done, again, I can feel that. All right, so now I'm going to do one more line on here. I'm going to go the opposite way of where my original seam was. So my seam is right here. So I'm going to actually mark from this corner to this corner. Now you notice that I have, this is black and this is a lot lighter. I don't know if my chalk pencil will work very well. So there's nothing wrong with actually doing it both ways. I'm going to place this here. I'm going to mark with a pin on this side. Then I'm going to open up my chalk pencil and mark on this side. There we go. Can you see the lines coming down this way? Right there. All right, so now I go back to the machine and stitch down those sides. Now, the nice thing is, if you are doing a whole bunch of these, you will actually chain piece this, which means you're just going to go one after another, okay? Fix that. There we go. And again, I'm feeling it. It's butting up one seam against the other. And now I'm going to stitch it. Cut. Turn it around and do the same thing. All right. It's almost like opening up a Christmas present. We'll see how well I did here. Yeah, not terrible, not perfect, but not bad. See, I can actually see it right there. Let's see on this side. Yeah, it's just a titch off. Darn it. Hate that when that happens, but you can see right there. If it really was driving me crazy, I could pull that out and then just kind of realign it again, but I'm actually not going to worry about it today. So I'll go ahead and take my scissors or my rotary cutter and stitch right through there, or cut right through there, I should say. All right, so here we go. And there we have it. Okay, I have 2 quarter square triangles. Isn't that cool? All right, so with that being done, I'm now going to press it once more. So let's come over here. I'll set my seams by putting a little bit of heat there. And now I'm going to open them. Did a little finger press. There we go. Pull it out and press. Don't stretch. Same with this one. Open it up finger press, and press. Okay, there we go. So it looks like this. Now the final step is to square these puppies up. So to do that, I'm going to use another favorite tool of mine that we talk about quite often, and that is the Tucker Trimmer 1. Let's see if I put it there. A lot of you probably have this. If you have like any kind of square up ruler will do. Okay, it doesn't have to be this one. This has a center diagonal line. This has this that they call the common diagonal. So the common diagonal is going to go down one side, and I want to actually square this up to be 3.5 inches. So I'm going to be looking at this line. I'm going to be looking at this line that is 3.5 inches diagonal. So let's do that. Bring this down. And I'm going to line it up right here. So 3.5 inches, excuse me, common diagonal, 3.5 inches. There we go. And now I know exactly where to trim. And I'm trimming two sides, along the right-hand side and up and over. Of course, if you are left-handed, you would do the left-hand side and then up and over. So with those two sides being trimmed, I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees. And now all I have to do is line up the 3.5 inch line here and the 3.5 inch line here. Trim and trim. I'll tell you, it just makes these quarter square triangles look so well done now. Okay, you compare a little bit of ski-wampusness. Is that a word? Sure it is. And then you look at this one and it's nice and straight. So I'll do this on this one. So again, my common diagonal is going down one seam this way. And then the 3.5 inches is going down the opposite side. So have it here, have it marked here. Trim, trim. Perfect. There we go. Get rid of that little guy. And now I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees, or if you had, a rotating mat, that's nice too. And we'll go 3.5 inches on this side and 3.5 inches down along the bottom. And do another trim, trim. And there we go. My quarter square triangle is all done. Now, I also have to share with you, and we've shared this before, I love Grippy. How many of you have Grippy? And do you love it as much as I do? What this is a non-slip coating. So if you've got, if you have, let's see, where are we? Okay. If you have rulers that have a tendency to slip, bring this up here. Pull this over. I'm just trying to see your comments. I hate that I can't see it on my screen. Here we go. Okay, so if you have a tendency for rulers to slip, you want some of this. This is awesome. Barb says she loves Grippy. Yeah, it's very cool. Mary Crowther loves her Tucker trimmer. And you just spray the back of it just like that. It doesn't have to take very much. And you don't have to do it before every time you use a ruler either. It lasts for a long time. I've had this bottle forever. And now it just has given a little bit of grip. So when it goes onto fabric, let me see if I can, let me grab a piece of fabric. Okay, here's a piece of fabric from my stash. Let's take, Anne says she loves Grippy, best thing ever. Yeah, I love it too. Now it doesn't slip. Okay, whereas if you had a regular ruler without it and you push on it, it actually slides all over the place. So especially with rulers like this, love, love, love the Grippy spray. Okay. Linda says Grippy is life-changing. I like that, Linda. That is great. Life-changing is where it's at. Hi, Diane from Maine. Welcome. Okay, so I love using this in conjunction with this and in conjunction with this. So much fun. So that's how a quarter square triangle comes together. Now, the fun thing about quarter square triangles is you can do some mixing and matching too. So for example, I did, the purple here and all the orange here, but look what happens. Look at the look I get. That one's pretty darn good. Yeah, that one's really good. When I mix up the colors, you could just have a lot of fun with this. It doesn't have to be all the same. So let's play for a minute with these blocks. Yep, I'm a grown-up playing with blocks still, I like to say. There we go. Let's bring this down and let's take a look at some different combinations you can do when working with quarter square triangles. So you might have one right there, and then the next one, you wouldn't want to put it together like this. I mean, obviously you could. Let's see what happens. You would have the hourglass going up and down through the whole border. But how much cuter is it when we switch this up a little bit, and now we have an hourglass going up and down, an hourglass going to the side. Here we go. And it just rotates back and forth, back and forth. Let's see. Pull this up a little bit. So it wouldn't be like this. It would be like this. So you rotate them back and forth and back and forth. Okay? And you would just continue this pattern over and over again. And you can be as scrappy as you want with this. Now let's take a look. If we were to do like a 4-patch this way, bring those together. Let me put this one on the opposite side and this one, no, right there. There we go. Whoa, look at that new block that's been created. It's almost like you have this pinwheel within a pinwheel. Can you see the secondary pattern that has now formed right here in the middle? That's pretty fun, right? Let's take a look at, I don't know if I have another 4th one here. If I were to do all, I don't have another one that's just like this, but let's see. Let's see if let's pretend that's purple, right? If we pretended that one was purple, there we go. Talk about on the cuff, right, folks? Here we go. So if we have this purple, look how cool that is as well. You've got the black pinwheel right in the middle, or you could say the purple pinwheel. There we go. And you have another really cool looking block. I absolutely love quarter square triangles. I just think they are so much fun. So have fun with that. But then look at what happens again if you were just to change it up. Or you don't have to have black. Maybe you want 4 different fabrics, each triangle being a different fabric. You absolutely could do that. Don't have the solid black in there. Maybe you have an orange and a purple and a green and a black, for example. So lots of different fun things you can do with this idea. And again, this is how I did, and sorry I don't have the actual one to show you. I left it over at the shop today, but this is how I did the border here. You can see the common denominator being the black, the solid black, and then you're just going back and forth and back and forth. A really fun way to use a block into a border and really change things up a little bit. It kind of looks like little bow ties, or wouldn't it be cute if you had like red striped fabric and you made little candies? I think that would be kind of fun too. So lots of different things you can do with this idea of quarter square triangles. All righty. So that is thing number 2. What do you guys think? Let me know. Okay. And or what questions do you have that I could help answer? Okay. Any questions? What's that? Yeah, you definitely could add more to the 4 patch. You could make it into a 9 patch if you wanted. Cheryl Fenton says Black Widow bellies. Oh, that's interesting, Cheryl. Okay, you could. You could, certainly could. Valerie loves the bright fabric. Yeah, there you go. Marianne said it's amazing, for as busy as the quarter square triangles are, they do not detract from the main design. Yeah, that's an interesting comment for sure, Marianne. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I was going to show you something else. Do you know how to get a really beautiful back? Okay, so this is the back of it. I'm kind of weird when it comes to the backs of my quilts. There we go. Oh, Susan, she loves that table runner. She made it last year, but still love the reminder of how to do the quarter square triangles. Thank you, Susan. Okay, so the backs, I'm kind of a freakazoid about it because I love when a block will lay really nice and flat, like this one. This is very nice and flat. There's absolutely no bulk like there is in this one. Now, I know it's probably hard to tell through the camera, but this one is bulky in the middle. This one is not. So the idea is that you're creating a 4 patch on the back. Let me show you how to do that. Okay, let me bring the camera down and I'll show you how that's done. Let's see. This one will show off pretty well. So you can see that I have the lines that are going this way and my seam lines that's in the white thread going this way. Do you see this little guy right here? This is the little guy that's made up of like 3 or 4 stitches right here. It's the one that goes perpendicular. It's the stitch that goes perpendicular to the last stitch you just sewed. So if this was the last stitch I just sewed, and we know that because it's on top, this is the little guy that you want to pull out. Okay, don't worry, it's not gonna make the block fall apart. I'm just pulling those little stitches out right there. Okay, once I do that, I'm able, let me pull this down, I'm actually able to pull this where I've created a 4 patch now. There we go. And now this seam is forced to go this way. Do you see the little 4 patch now? There's 2 purples and then 2 blacks right here. So what I'm going to do is come over here and I'm going to now force this seam to go this way and just press it. There we go. There we go. Do you see it? It's a little 4 patch. And then I can flip it over, press on the front, and this is nice and flat. I will do that oftentimes with my pinwheel blocks as well as my 4 patch blocks. Nice and flat. Okay, so that is all. Whew. How do we do? Did that make sense? I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Laura says it looks great. Thanks, Laura. Do you guys do the same thing with the backs of your blocks? Donna calls it a rosebud, and she loves doing it. Yeah, like a rosebud. I just, oh, it's like magic, Marianne says. It really is something else. And what it does is it prevents all of those seams coming through at one place and makes it so that it's just nice and flat. I love it. You truly can tell a difference. This one is not. There's a lot of bulk there. This one is. Okay. All right. Valerie's never tried it, but she's going to try now. Yay, Valerie. Good, good, good. Okay. So hopefully that helps.